Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Medieval World War. It's a very ominous title, Timotab, constructor or co-constructor of this puzzle with FastSandals, to celebrate FastSandals' 12th birthday. Same day as Willpower, it turns out. We have, let's say, a more wise individual and a slightly younger individual who's celebrating their birthday today. So really happy birthday, FastSandals. I hope you have a fantastic day with Timotab and the rest of the family. Right. I don't know too much about this particular puzzle. In the sense that I don't know its rating, I don't know its difficulty. I know I'm not going to disappoint a 12-year-old on his birthday. So we are going to solve it, we're going to feature it, and please do wish FastSandals a happy birthday down below. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with Medieval World War by FastSandals and Timotab. Can I just double check? Yeah, recording is fine. Right, we've got normal Sudoku, we've got fortress, medieval of course, and arrows, which makes sense, you're shooting at the fortress. So, on the off chance you don't know what all of that means, quick walkthrough. Normal Sudoku means place the digits 1 to 9, once each in every row. Every column, of course, every 3x3 box, so that is normal Sudoku. Fortress, so cells shaded grey must be larger than their orthogonal non-fortress neighbors. So this cell, for example, which is shaded and is a fortress cell, has to be bigger than these orthogonally adjacent cells, not this one, because it is another fortress cell. So it only counts for fortress cells. And then we've got, of course, arrows. So digits on an arrow must sum to the digit in the attached circle. So these two cells, whatever they may be, let's say it's 1 and 2, must add up to 3, which is inside the circle attached to that arrow. Fairly straightforward set of rules. As always, to play along, link in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. And I'm sure it's not lost on you, this 3-cell arrow that's going through the fortress cell, which is at a minimum of 4. Because you see, if I surround it by 1 and 2, this is at least a 3. So a 3-cell arrow in general, when all of the cells have to be different because they're in the same box or, same box, same row, etc. This has to be normally 6, 7, 8, 9, because, the minimum would be 1, 2, 3. But as I've just demonstrated, that is a minimum of 4, not 3. So that can't even be a 6. Interesting. This one again is another 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't be a 9. This cell has to be larger than it. So, and when you have 3 cells that add up to 6, 7, or 8, there has to be a 1 on it. This cell is also not a 9, and it has a fairly large arrow. Now, the thing is, you can kind of minimize this a bit. I can go with double 1, but then I couldn't do double 1 in here. I would have to do 2 and 3. So that might be kind of the worst example. If I place a 2, not sure I can make it much smaller. So that's 3, 6, 7. So this is 7 or 8. This is 8 or 9. In fact, here is another one that is not 9 because, this fortress cell is right next to it. So there's definitely a 1 in here. The 1 is not in the middle fortress cell. So far, we've got tons of information, but no actual digit. This is 7, 8, or 9 because it needs to be bigger than the 6, 7, or 8. This is a relatively large, no, this is a relatively small cell, so it's this one. So it's that one. This one here, if I do 1, 2, and 1, this is at least a 4. Not very big. It does limit, oh, hang on. This is 7, 8. This is 8 or 9. That tells me that this is exactly 7. Because I've got 2 cells that have to be bigger. We've demonstrated why this can't be 6. And it can't be 9 because these need to be bigger. 8, 9 pair tells me our break-in, that's 7, that's 4. This is 1, 2, this is 1, 2. My example earlier turns out to be correct. And then one of them is 8, one of them is 9. This cell is a maximum of 6 now. And remember, this was a minimum of 4. 3 in here, 1 in there. That's 4. This is 5 or 6. This is 4 or 5. Which means I don't have that many degrees of freedom. For example, if I put a 1 in here and then a 1 and 3, I think that still works, doesn't it? I can't do 2 and 3. 2 and 3 would be 5, plus the 1 is 6, so there has to be a 1 in here to get to a maximum of 5. Okay. Now, what else do I know? Not too sure, actually. I mean, the fact that this is now limited to 7 or 8, and it was a bit of a struggle to come up with relatively low digits, especially with this 1, 2 in here. Because again, it can't be bigger. 1 and 2 plus a 3, that already breaks the puzzle. So this is definitely 1 or 2. Meaning that even if I minimize these, I have to have at least a 3. Because in essence, this will be one of the 1, 2s. This clearly couldn't be the 3. Or the 4. So high chance this is 1 or 2. But let me just double check. If this is 1 or 2 and this is 5, which is the next available digit, 5, 1, I mean, that's already broken. 1, and this would have to be 3 because that's 2. So that is definitely not 7 or 8. That's 4, 9, 10. You can't even write that in. 1 and 2 in here. This is at least a 3. Must be even higher, potentially. Let me think. So if I minimize some of these cells now, 3 in here, 6 in there, 7 in here. So this is again 1 or 2. And because of the 3 and 4, I can't go any bigger. This is definitely a 3 on this arrow. Yeah. Plus 2 cells that either add up to 4, which is highly likely because of that 3. I can, of course, go up to 1. I could do 4 and 1. So 1 and 4, that's 5, plus the 3 to get to 8. But essentially, there's a degree of freedom between these 2 cells. Okay. And then a 1, 2 pair here. It's not a very elegant solve, to be fair, on my part, but this cell is at least 5. And this cell is at least 1. So this is another 6, 7, 8, 9. There's loads of them all over the place. So I'm just going to color these briefly. Yeah, I was just checking if this cell could be 1 or 2. As in, if that was green, then obviously you're seeing blue and green 1, 2s, but it isn't. So this could actually be quite a low digit. This can't be 1. I don't have to have a 2 in here either, because 1, 3, 4 would work with an 8, and then a 9, and then a 7. I mean, there's a lot of pressure now between kind of this cluster of clues. I don't really want to try and squeeze logic out of that. I mean, I could. Just going to have a look around for anything that is more obvious. So this cell is bigger than 3 because this cell cannot be 1 or 2. This is at least 3. So this is at least 4. But obviously it could be quite a lot larger. I mean, that's a ridiculous pencil mark. I'm not sure I'm going to keep it. I mean, the fact that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cells means that this is at least 5. So we can pencil mark this one. Now, the thing is, I don't even think 5 works because there's another one of those 1, 2, 3s in here. And I can't have, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the minimum here. So this is definitely a minimum of 6. Obviously, it could be a lot larger. 5 and 6 is quite limited. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, there you go. That's what I was missing. 5, 6, 4. This now loses its degree of freedom. So this has to be 1, 2. This is 1. All the blues are 1s. All the greens are 2s. That's a 2. I think that's my degree of freedom, wasn't it? That's 3, 5. And then that has to be 3 to get to a maximum of 8. And then a 9 in here. Lovely. No 8s. So this is now 6 or 7. So there's a guaranteed 2 now, because it's essentially either 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 4. And the 1s are not here. That's the 1s. And this is either 2, 3 or 2, 4 with a definite 2 now. Not quite enough. I mean, I'm going to leave it for now. There is no 1. There is no 2. So 3, 4 is the minimum now to get to 7. Of course, I could do 3, 6. And I could do 4, 5 in either direction. Not this cell. So that's fully pencil marked because 1, 8 is out, 2, 7 is out, 3, 6 is in, 4, 5 is in. Okay. And of course, if it's 7, it's got to be 3, 4. 7 would force a 6, would make this 2, 3. There's plenty of ways of resolving this. Probably like Sudoku, maybe. 8. These look like 1, 2, 3. That is not a 1. That is 2 or 3. This is 6, 9. This could still be as low as 2. This is at least a 3 now with the 1 and 2 visible. So this is at least another 5. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm really not keen on these pencil marks, by the way, but it doesn't seem like I can avoid them for some reason. 2 is in one of these 2 cells. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've already established that this is at least a 5. This is at least a 2. We can remove an option. And because it's at least a 5, sorry, so this is at least a 2. This is a maximum of 7 now. This can't be that high. Because with a 5, I have a ceiling of 4. So that's fully pencil marked now. Okay. Can you see anything else? Not really. No 8s. 8 is in one of these 2 cells. 8 is in one of these 3, which is a fairly large number. It's not in the middle, then we're guaranteed a 9 now in here. Remember what I said about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 6? Well, it breaks this cell. So this is not a 6 either. This is at least a 7 now. At least a 7. It can't be 7. Come on, I just said that there is an 8 in this row. So if this is not the 8, and there's an 8 next to it with a 7, that, yeah, sleuth, come on. Right. Not a very useful fortress cell. Whenever you have 9s, you kind of just move on. This cell is not 1, 2, or 4, but has to be smaller than 6, so it's 3 or 5. This can't be a 9 next to this fortress, so that resolves that. This is now at least a 7, and it's not 8 or 9, so it's exactly 7. If that's 2, that's 5. If that's 3, that's 4, which it isn't. So that's 5, that's 2. These are not 2s. There was no 2 option in here, but no 5. So no 5. So I think that removes the 4, 5 option, doesn't it? Because that was only usable with 4, 5. So essentially it's either 3, 4 or 3, 6. It's always a 3 and 4 or 6 to get to 7 or 9. And this is no longer a 5 either. Not a 2. That is my 2. This cell, given that 7, 8, and 9 are not available, is actually quite restricted now. So technically I could do 4, 5, and 6. 4 with a 3. Is that going to work? No, because I have 1, 2, 3. This cell would have to be bigger, so that is not a 4. It's 5 or 6. Means that this is a relatively low cell that is not 1. It could be 2, it's not 3, it could be 4. technically could be 5 with a 6 in here. Now this cell equally can't be that large to get to 6, 7, 8. Well, I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's smaller than this cell, and it's not 1 or 2. I think it can only be 3, 4, or 5. Yeah, again, this cluster now has a lot of pressure. Again, it's probably going to be some Sudoku that I'm missing, like there. That would make this easier to proceed. So 1 is not there. 1 is in one of 2 cells. 1 is not here or there. That's 1. That's not 1. That is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 is none of these. That's 4. This is a 6, 8. That's a 6. That's the 8. That's the 5, which was fairly restricted with the 5. That ends up with a 3, 4 pair. Not a 5 in here, a 2, 4 pair there. I don't need the corner pencil marks anymore. I still need a 5 somewhere in here. But essentially it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Keep going. This cell is 4, 6, 7, 9. It doesn't have what? No. Yeah, the 4 is gone. That's why. 6, 9. Not 9. Not 6. 7 or 8. Not 6 means that's 7, which means that's 4, that's 3. Now to get to 7 or 8, this is either 4 or 5, which it isn't. So it's just 4, 2, 7, 8. Lovely. This 2 doesn't help me with my 5, 6, 7. These cells now are 6, 9. Not resolved. These cells are 4, 5. Not resolved either. Can I do anything else? I can't see it if I can. So we need a 1 in row 9. And it's not this cell. It's definitely not inside the fortress. So that's the 1, that's the 4. This could be as low as 5, to be fair. In fact, this is not a 7. Therefore, this is not a 5. So it has to be 5. And it's not 7, 6, 8, 9, 6, 5. 2 or 3. That 8 removes this as an 8. That's the 8. So this cell, it's increasingly looking that it's not that big. 7, 8, and 9 are not available. Clearly bigger than 1 or 2. 3, 4, 5 is not available. 6 is. Now 3 feels like it's pushing it because 3, this cell can't be 1, 2, or 3. So that's not a 3. 4 feels like it's pushing it. 1, 2, and 3 are again not available. So that's just 6. With 1, 2, and 3 not available, this is 4 or 5. And 1 and 2 here not available, nor 4. This is just 3 or 5. It's not 5, it's 3. And in the column now, we've got 4, 7. That's the 4, that's the 7. That resolves my 5 4s. This is looking very messy now. What can I do with these cells? So 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5, 7, and 9. Other than this not being a 7, and this being 5 or 9, and this being 5 or 9. It's not 5, that's 9. If I can type 9, 5, 9, 5, 7 pair, it means that the 9 is definitely now in here, so it's definitely inside the fortress, and these are 5, 7, 8s. I think we've largely used all the variants at this point, I'm going to say. And these are 3, 4, 5. No 4s is a 4. No 5s. 7, 8 is a 5. A 7. And whatever this digit is, a 6. And Sudoku should be our friend. 2, 1. Don't know. In here I need 2, 3, and 8. This is the 8 because it's not 2 or 3. It's another 2, 3. In here I need 6, 7, 9. That's the only place for a 6. This is 7, 9. This is 7, 8, or 9. It's not 7 or 9. That's, whoa, I can't do Sudoku. 7. Nothing new there, to be fair. 9. What am I doing? Sorry, I'm just going to rewind this Sudoku blindness. So I needed an 8, so this was correct. I needed a 2, 3. The 8 gave me the 7 and the 8. Let's just try this again. Then I said I needed a 6, which can only be in here. Then I said I need 7 and 9, and that's not 7. That's 7. That's 9. How did I absolutely foober that up? In here I need 2, 7. That's the 7. That's the... No, I don't need 2. I do need a 7, so the 7 stays. The 9 comes in. I need 2 and 8. That's the 8. That's the 2, 3, 2, 3. And if I've not made other silly mistakes, that's the 5 for the finish. Very happy birthday, FastSandals, and hope you're enjoying it with Timotab. And I'll get this posted, this very embarrassing solve there at the end. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye for now.